Tonight on the Upfront segment, misinformation on all platforms of social media, the challenges of truth versus inaccurate claims and the problems it creates. Tonight, Tristan Harris, co-founder and president of Humane Technology, joins us from the West Coast. Tristan, we thank you for your time tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Good to be here.
You were recently involved in the Netflix documentary, The Social Dilemma, drawing attention to manipulation through Facebook, Instagram, Google, focusing on tracking and tracing. Clearly, the social media giants know all about each and every one of us that uses those services. How concerning is that?
Yeah, well, I think this film, The Social Dilemma, is the first time that many insiders who are from the technology companies, the inventor of the like button, the inventor of Facebook's business model, and I was a design ethicist at Google, speaking on camera about the harms that have come from social media and this business model that rewards more outrage, more addiction, more polarization, and more confirming that our view is correct. And I think that's never been more true than in the recent elections, where each of us are being fed our own micro reality, where if you're on the right side of the equation, you're seeing infinite assertions of more voter fraud and more examples and more implications of that. And if you're on the left, you see increasing debunking of all of these allegations of voter fraud and more people from the GOP calling to certify the election. And the net cost of this has been shredding our reality into kind of a psychosis, a national psychosis, where our mind is divided against itself. And what I really hope people see, whether it's by seeing The Social Dilemma or just understanding how social media works, is that it profits from dividing us into our own Truman Show.
Right.
And I think that's really what we're seeing now in the aftermath of the U.S. elections.
Well, in fact, our station, WXYZ, recently part of misinformation during the election. We called it Wagon Gate, spread across the globe. Our photographer was delivering batteries, you probably heard the story, to a co-worker covering the vote count here in Detroit. Someone posted it as a case of voter fraud. So how dangerous is it for society when fiction replaces facts so very easily?
Well, the example you're bringing up is perfect, because as I understand it was a photo of a camera container or some kind, right? That was being treated as some kind of voter ballot box.
Right.
And how fast do you think that photo attached to the label, this is a voter fraud sort of situation, spread through Facebook before it was ever debunked? And do you think the people who saw it and believed it actually got the later message that this actually wasn't an accurate photo? No, in fact, what we know and what we talk about in the film, The Social Dilemma, is how fake news spreads 6 times faster than true news, because fake news and salacious ideas are more exciting and more confirming of what we want to believe. And so we spread what we want to believe really fast before we actually ever get the correction.
Right. So the CEOs of Facebook, Twitter face questions from lawmakers on Capitol Hill today about how they moderate content on their platforms. What else should they be doing so we put a stop or slow down what clearly is taking place out there?
Well, I think ultimately we're going to need a fundamental change to their business model, because so long as the business model is the promise to each of us that you could win the attention fame lottery, where you post something and it can go viral to hundreds of millions of people, and it doesn't distinguish between good faith, ethical, and conscious use of virality versus bad faith or immediate sharing of just assertions, that is going to ruin the information commons that we are all living inside of. So, really, we're going to have to change the business model of these companies. Otherwise, we're playing a whack-a-mole game, and we're going to try to whack each of these fake news stories faster and we're not going to be able to whack them faster than how fast they're being spread and how fast they're appearing. So we have to ask, what's the game that's going to fix this?
Right, and without regulation, I mean, they're not going to self-regulate themselves to impact and damage their own business models, though, right? I mean, we can't trust them to do that.
That's right. And when we say we need regulation, I don't mean that some presidential administration should decide what is or is not free speech or what we should allow to be said. We have to make a distinction between freedom of speech and freedom to reach. We're all allowed to speak, but not all of us are simply given this God-given right to reach a football stadium-sized audience. Imagine if I put your ex-romantic partner up on the video screen of a stadium-sized audience, and they could say anything they wanted and it could spread virally. we wouldn't feel very comfortable about that world. But that's exactly where we find ourselves now, where any of us can reach millions and millions of people, even teenagers can, before, again, the truth can get its socks on, as Mark Twain said.
There's work to be done. Tristan, we have to leave it there for tonight. A fascinating subject, and also the role that you're playing in helping us through this. I'd like to invite you back and talk further about this when time permits.
Anytime. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Tristan Harris, the co-founder of an important nonprofit, a new nonprofit. He left Google to start Humane Technology, located nonprofit on the West Coast. Tristan, thank you.